It all starts tomorrow night. This weekend on NFL Network, it's all over the place. You get to see preseason debuts for Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and Mac Jones live. But it's not all about the rookies. We've got 8 preseason games live here on NFL Network, a doubleheader on Friday, a quadruple header on Saturday. We've got you covered all weekend long right here on NFL Network. It's the only place you can see every preseason game. And we've got you set this morning. It is Wednesday. Someday in August 11th, there we go. We're presented by Audi, Peter Schrager, Kyle Brandt, Nate Burleson, myself, Kay Adams. We've got the best reporters in the business. So let's do it. 8 o'clock Eastern, lead block.
Lead block.
We talk a lot about the Ravens. A lot of questions about them, what they can do in the postseason, how they get there, what their passing game looks like. And that brings us to Aditi Kinkhabwala, who's back with the Ravens at camp for the finale of Inside Training Camp Live today on NFL Network. We got some unfortunate news out of Ravens camp, a huge bummer about a guy I talk about at least once a day on the program, Rashad Bateman and that Baltimore offense. What's going on?
Kay, I feel like at this point you should know. Let's not talk about Ravens wide receivers all that much. It feels as if for the last 5 years they've just been snake bitten at that position. Obviously, the pass game, evolving the pass game, improving the pass game was this area of focus. That's why the Ravens went ahead and took a first-round pick. That is a wide receiver, but Rashad Bateman has not been able to stay healthy. He's been in and out of camp, and then he just hurt his groin. Our Mike Garafolo tells us that he is likely week to week. This comes on top of Marquise Hollywood Brown hurting his hamstring, and Ravens head coach John Harbaugh telling us that's a little bit more serious than expected. And on top of Miles Boykin not necessarily being so healthy and suffering from a case of the drops. And, of course, Deon Cain, the newly signed wide receiver who was formerly with Pittsburgh, also dealing with some injuries. This all, Kay, is with Lamar Jackson today having just his 3rd day of practice after, once again, spending 10 days on the COVID list. So this offense clearly has some things to work on. It's a good thing that there's still some runway, there's still some time before the games start, because we need availability. We need guys on the field working together to see what can actually happen with this pass game.
Yeah, this is a dilemma, but you're right, Aditi. It is year after year after year, whether it be injuries or just what's going on with the passing game. So that's on the offensive side. What else is an area of concern right now for the Ravens? Because some top defenders left in the offseason, too.
They did. I was going to actually say stick with the offense for a little while because actually the defense has been looking pretty good. Justin Houston has slid right in at pass rusher. They're quite deep at pass rush. And I'll tell you this from what I've been told. I'll see it for myself in just about half an hour. Houston is actually fitting in much better than Yannick Ngakoue did, who also came in last year and then left for Las Vegas. The cornerbacks, the secondary has been looking very good. Marlon Humphrey, I've been told, is having a tremendous camp. So let's go back to that offense. And Peter, what about the offensive line? That's a rebuilt offensive line. Kevin Zeitler is hurt. Ronnie Stanley just came off the PUP list. He did a few individual drills yesterday. Now, John Harbaugh says he's on schedule, but again, we are 2 weeks into camp. My old friend Al Villanueva is still adjusting and acclimating to camp in Baltimore, which I will say, as someone who has observed camps throughout the AFC North, camp in Baltimore is quite a bit harder than camp in Pittsburgh is. So that's an adjustment for Al. And then Bradley Bozeman, who's playing center, was just injured as well. So again, this is trying to get healthy bodies on the field and an offense working together. An offense that, as Kay said at the top, is really trying to take a leap and show that it is built for the postseason.
And the postseason to me means passing game. Thank you so much, Aditi Kinkhabwala. You honestly are the best morning person of the bunch. You're so happy, and I know what's the humidity out there, like 1,000,005? Come on.
Yeah, close. It's because I woke up without my kids. I got to actually sleep this morning.
Oh.
Talk about it.
I don't know what to say to that. I love
Big
you.
facts.
Aditi Kinkhabwala, we'll talk to you throughout the morning here. We'll talk about the Baltimore Ravens here at the breakfast table right now. Lamar Jackson became the starter in the middle of the 2018 season, and the Ravens have made the playoffs every year since. They cannot seem to get past that divisional round. Have they done enough to get over the hump in year 2021? Our Lord. I don't even understand what I'm saying. Go ahead.
Our Lord. All right. Shout out to Aditi.
She's such a trooper. It's
as
like
fathers,
8 a.m.
we know what it's like to wake up without the kids. Kyle, you spent, 7 weeks in Australia? Best sleep you ever had?
They had to drag me out of there. I miss my family
Glad to
terribly.
be back.
Honey,
I love you.
It's like torture.
I hear you. Sleeping in the hotel as a married man.
I only worked for 1 week. I didn't tell people
Just
that.
a night alone. Just a night alone. That's all we asked for. I'll take it on Father's Day.
Yeah?
You're tripping. I'm joking. All right, so let me be serious for a second. Aditi's talking about waking up without her kids. How about Lamar waking up without his receivers? All of these guys that we kept complimenting over the last couple of months, Rashad Bateman, and we got Hollywood Brown. We bring in Sammy Watkins. They draft a couple other guys, bringing a few off of free agency. Finally, Lamar has the wideouts. Okay, they're banged up. You know why I can care less about those receivers being banged up? Because I want Lamar to run the ball. Let's just do what you do best. I get it. We're talking about the pass game. He's going to lean on Mark Andrews and then a little bit of his wideouts. Or he could just go video game mode and just be Lamar. Lamar was one of the best running backs in the NFL. Not calling him one of the best running backs in the NFL over the last couple of years. And I got to be honest, I don't even think he's trying to run every game. And you know what? With these guys being banged up, some inconsistency, the flow not being there with the wideouts, maybe the first few games of the season, they put this in the game plan and say, Lamar, we need you to rush for 200. And it's not out of the question. If they put that in the game plan and Lamar takes care of his body, doesn't take big shots, this can put these guys in position where they start fast. He really is going to have to assess the situation and figure out how much is he going to put on his shoulders. And he might have to leave that pocket a little bit more often in the first half of the season than he will later on when he finally gets that rhythm with the wideouts.
This will work in the playoffs?
Run, Lamar, run. Yes, because when guys are cold and banged up and defenses are slower,
Worked against Tennessee.
fast guys always remain fast.
Yeah.
Exactly, Kyle.
You know, the Ravens' history with wide receivers is so tortured. It's tortured. I mean, yes, there was Steve Smith and Anquan Bolden, and obviously Jacoby Jones had those good years. Torrey Smith, but like Travis Taylor was a first-round pick, never worked out. Javar Darling, remember him? Mark Clayton, Yamon Figurs, remember him?
Mark Clayton was supposed to be them.
Demetrius Williams was supposed to be the guy, and like now here's another player, Bateman, where you're just like, I'm not even asking you to just be available. It's like they did this with Rashad Perriman. He got hurt, missed the whole first year. Like you can't seem to strike when they draft these wide receivers. And so I feel great, just like, but then I go back to Nate's point. It's like, I don't care. Like if he's Julio Jones, is Rashad Bateman going to be the first option on that offense? No, you got to run the ball. That's what matters with the Ravens. So I'm more concerned with, all right, what kind of physical shape is Ronnie Stanley in? He's back. He was playing in practice this week. To Aditi's point, we lose Orlando Brown. What do we do to adjust there? Bozeman's in a new position. And then lastly, are J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards going to handle this thing? Because it is good. These games are going to be won by these two guys. Dobbins, Edwards in the backfield, and of course Lamar in that offensive line.
Mucking it up, Strags.
Mucking it up.
We're going to ugly it up.
Yamon Figurs was never going to win them a Super Bowl. Demetrius Williams was never going to win a Super Bowl. It was going to be Willis McGahee and LaRon McClain and Jamal Lewis, and it was going to be Ray Rice, and it was going to be all those guys, and now it's these guys. It is the Ravens' identity. So as much as they want to draft wide receivers in the first round, yes, it would be lovely if Hollywood Brown develops into some tremendous talent. And yes, it would be great if we saw Rashad Bateman catch 80 passes in his first year. But I think a lot of Ravens fans are like, that's all nice, that's all cherry on the top. Let's run the ball, let's do what we do, and let's get it ugly, and let's just win some games in December in the rain, and then we'll roll the dice in January. And I think they still can win with this approach. I really do. It's just they've got to run the ball really well.
They can win. Like, can they win at all? Because there's a meme that might come out in January where we're saying, have the Ravens done enough to get over the hump? And it'll be them losing to the Chiefs in the playoffs, and it'll be like, narrator, they had not done enough. Like, that'll be the joke, because we can take the words the hump off there. It should be the Chiefs. It should be the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Like, we have to inject this into the conversation. I know Ravens fans are so annoyed and so exasperated and so over it. You're also 0-3 against that man. You're 0-3. And you've had him before, and you've had him down, and then he rips your heart out and shows it to you. This is just the nature of this era. Same thing for the Bills. Same thing for the Browns. You can't have one of these state-of-the-team franchises without showing those maniacs in the red helmets. At some point, you got to beat them up. And have they done enough? Yeah, I mean, like, they're good. Anybody picking the Ravens to win the Super Bowl this year?
I might.
Okay, that doesn't mean anything. Are you picking the Ravens to win the Super Bowl? I might too, but I don't think you will, and I don't think I will, and I don't think they should. I'm sorry, but like only one team wins.
Could they have
There's
done
no
anything?
participation.
Could they have done anything in the offseason that would have changed
Great
the
question.
question?
they could have traded from Mahomes, and Kelsey. I think the Chiefs have better players than them, and I think they have equally great coaches. And guys, this is competitive sports. One team wins, one team loses. We've been doing this 5 years. This kind of thing we talk about in commercial breaks. There's fan bases around the country that kind of hate each one of us in their own way. And I don't care who your guys are. You can divulge that if you want. The Ravens fans hate me. Hate me.
Saints fans hate me.
Okay, well, we all have ours. Ravens fans, what do you want me to do? Do what Nate does and tell you're always going to be great and win everything? Everyone's going to get paid? Sorry. Someone has to keep 100. I mean, the Chiefs are really good. Sorry. Not sorry. Adams.
You mentioned they're built on the run game, and that's so true, but they didn't win until it was the postseason. I'm talking Ray Rice defense carried the team, and then Joe Flacco went nuclear in the postseason. That's what needs that. I would pick them if I need to see that from Lamar. You know what I'm saying? They can run, they can be built on the run, all of that. But basically for 3 straight years, you got bounced from the playoffs, and I think it's because you couldn't get the passing game going. So I guess I'm not worried about this right now, Shriggs, because as long as somebody like Rashad Bateman gets on the field at some point, to me it's that postseason. It is that Flacco, nuclear magic at the end of it.
Yeah, and few quarterbacks in the history of the game have caught fire like Flacco did. And he went into New England, he went into Denver, he beat Tom Brady, he beat Peyton Manning, and then he beats Kaepernick in the Niners in a game that he was on fire. So Super Bowl MVP, all that stuff, would love to see that from Lamar. I don't know if Lamar's got that in him either.
I don't know if they have Ed Reed and Ray Lewis either, and Suggs, and Flacco didn't go through Mahomes. Mahomes was in high school, I think.
150 yards in that Bills game. 150 yards, they scored 3 points.
Yeah.
You can't win the AFC, you can't win any sort of title game if you don't get it going through the air. So hopefully they do.